In 2009, I attended Day88-achancetoescapemurdoch'sembrace international cheerleader books. The ceremony took place by a lake in a country still. I stood next to TV presenter Pierce Morgan while Paul the Daily Mail editor was a few years away. The poor model was closer to Jackson than closer to Jack. They were carrying home with the slow golden brown then Prime Minister Ward and golden brown then Prime Minister Ward. Prime Minister arrived late with all eyes turning to me as we walked down to the lake. At the reception, I had a brief conversation with Mr. Cameron. I said I hoped he would not win the coming election, but that if he did and if he wanted to actively prove back and standard, I would support it. For some time, the journalists in me had known that the relationship between the politics and the media was not serving the public. It was my first-hand experience of this type of cultural abuse and negativity that convinced me to bring the press and 24 news for making more elected leader to govern. It's got worse, hasn't it? He said. I replied that he would be a much stronger minister were he to take office, not feeling he owed anything to the big media groups. I said I hoped he would not win the coming election, but that he could then, and if he wanted to actively debate and stand up in the press, I would support him. It's got worse, hasn't it? He said. I replied that he would be a much stronger minister were he to take office, not feeling he owed anything to the big media groups. At that point, Mr. Murdoch joined us and we changed the subject. Perhaps we should not have done so, but if we did and if we wanted to debate and stand up in the press, I would. Mr. Murdoch joined us and we changed the subject. Perhaps we should not have done so. Perhaps we should not have done so, but we did, and however, let's do this nice. But essentially, and stand up in the press, I would support him. Jordan returned we should not have done so, but that we did, however, let's do something up to this one at the heart of the essential political and commercial relationship. It is not easy what Ed Miliband Labour leader did last week. Make himself unenemy of some of the media's most powerful forces. He was right that Labour got too close to News International, but he was also right that Labour got too close to News, but he was also right that given the media by its reason, he knew why we tried to level the playing field. In my own defense and my diary show, I argued for some years with Tony Blair that we need to act on the culture of our media. At one point, he took me up, asking that I not my views obvious in front of Mr. Guarda. His son James and Lexington then chief executive Rebecca Burst. Ultimately, there was also giving the media bias against that he knew why we tried to level the playing field. In my own defense and as my diary shows, argue for some years with Tony Blair that we need act on the culture of the media. At one point, he took me up, asking that I not my views obvious in front of Mr. Moscow. His son James and Lexington, then chief executive of News International. Ultimately, Mr. Blair thought the press had become a problem, but that given our other priority, people would not understand our taking them on. He also thought it would look like revenge for the fact they had turned against us. And there are political considerations too. Trying to govern and re-election is hard enough without the press being against you. I accept that for all of us, at times media support was something we credited at the expense of positions or principle on media issues, but that ship has now been sprung. The latest revelation have forced the police, News International, and the government to act. The police will now be more vigorous. News International will continue with their kamikaze crisis management, which one day will be studied as a textbook case of how not to do it. But the most important development are the Prime Minister during course into press practices and new system of regulation. These may we now have once in a generation opportunity for we once and all looking for new side between colors, the media and the public. Nobody can argue that we have the first picture. Pressured by technological change, a dominant strain of Britain's media has gone into a spiral of decline, in which this scandal is only the most dramatic development. Mr. Cameron did not look comfortable announcing the reviews. His personal relationship at stake, and given he hired Andy Person as his communication director, his judgment is true. Already the backlash from part of press has begun. I seek to maintain that anything but two slivers of regulation is an assault on a free press. But Mr. Cameron must stand back from all that and ask himself what is the right thing to do. The news some of it last Friday. The judicial inquiry should be far-reaching. The news of the war is far from alone the use of dubious and legal practices, as widely ignored reports from the Information Commission have shown. Horrors of Britain's media reminds me of the trade union before Mrs. Thatcher. They feel untouchable. As I say about Labour could and should have done more to do with the fear of risk. But just as the MP's expenses scandal emerged from the failure of Mrs. Thatcher's government to tackle MP salaries, so the system by which showered honors on editors and owners, a practice to which we put on with a rule that no serving editor could be honored, means you to have something to answer for. Whatever the past, it is Mr. Cameron who too must lead the country to a better place. Mr. Miliband has shown himself capable of playing a good and principled part, and so should the public. Ultimately, political debate will only improve if the public wanted to. If they channel the anger, if every single event into an assessment of what kind of paper they read, whether they really want to live on a diet of celebrated trivia, and their reviews to coin a phrase, we're all in this together.